All right, where are we?
You're doing a good job, babe.
But I don't think it's me. I don't know why we're not popped up. All right, let me see. If you can hear us, bear with us. For some reason, we're not popping on the screen. I don't know why. Weird.
Can't see you. Oh, click add to stage on yourself.
Oh, see, I had to switch the thing. What's up, y'all? Sorry about that. As you can tell, I'm already out of YouTube shape as I can't figure out how to get us on. Let's see if I can make us bigger. There we go. All right.
Wow.
Welcome to the docket presented by Defense Diaries, where we try to just always bring you just the facts. So I'm Bob Mata, and this is my beautiful co-host and wife, Allison Mata. How are you, baby?
Hey, babe. Hey, all.
All right. Thanks all for joining us. So it's been a minute. We had our last live pulled down when we were doing with Natalia Grace. We're in the battle with Diane Ciccone or Ciccone, however you want to pronounce it. She made the claim. I think we're going to win it. We've made it past the second step. It's now the ball's in her court. So we'll see. We hope to get that video back up because we thought it was good and we want to follow that case a little more. But we're back to our dear old friend, the Delphi case. And I originally had planned this, Allie, to just kind of give the folks a primer on what they can expect on the 18th of January for the huge hearing that's going to be taking place in Indianapolis at the Supreme Court. And then all of a sudden, today, we had a big filing, surprising filing to me in a lot of different ways. So obviously, we're going to have to pivot. Before we get to that, let's kind of catch up. Couple things have gone down, most notably, aside from today's filing. I think probably the biggest news that came out post-Christmas, post-New Year's was that Judge Frances Gull was elected by the board to be the chief judge of Allen County. Now, that could be looked at a bunch of different ways. It could be looked at, and just so everyone understands, chief judge is ministerial. It's administrative. They handle any issues that are going on within the court. Like, say, for instance, substitution of judge is filed. They send you in front of the chief judge, and then the chief judge will assign you to a new judge. They handle things like that. There's definitely
not a punishment, though. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's 100%. It's not a punishment. Who said anything about a punishment? I didn't say.
Well, I just mean, to me, I was taken aback, like, wow, this is somebody being like, hey, we have no issues with what she's doing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you were hoping for a punishment, and instead she got what appears to be, which some could construe as a reward. I don't know about that. To me, the most interesting thing about it is, of course, the timing. It does seem to be a show of support for Judge Gull by her county, and saying, look, but it rotates. It's a 2-year thing, so judges come in, they come out. Like in our county, we have chief judges for each division. We have a chief judge for family. We have a chief judge for criminal, civil, probate, all those things. It sounds like here she might be the chief judge for everything. So I don't know. However, obviously the timing is interesting in light of the fact of what's going on. Obviously, everybody in that county is well aware of what's going on. And my thought, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, I think we've talked about it a little bit. Man, you look really beautiful tonight. Did I tell you that? The one thing that kind of sticks in my mind is that it gives her an easy out, meaning that if she feels that the arguments on the 18th don't go well, I think it gives her a very easy pivot to where she can just say, look, I've had recent health issues. I've just been anointed the chief judge of my county. There's more duties. Like, I'm concerned about being away from my courthouse for months, potentially, where I won't be able to fulfill my duties. So I think it gives her a nice way to walk out of it. I mean, look, everybody is going to be thinking, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? I mean, like a convenient excuse, but I mean, I think it does give her that ability to do that. And maybe that was one of the rationale behind the appointment. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. You'd really have to kind of be in the loop, in the inner sanctum back there in the board to really know what's going on with that. So
I was just going to say it's possible that they are on a rotating schedule, that she was supposed to be the chief judge before. I mean, we just don't know. So, I mean, that is, a definite possibility. But what it felt to me like when it happened was a show of support for her at the perfect time.
yeah, right. Exactly. I think it served two purposes. I think it definitely was a bolster, like, hey, we love Gull. I think she's a great judge. We love her so much. We made her chief judge. So that was a rather big event. And then today, just kind of waking up, I was doing a stream with Nerdy. We were following the Michelle Troconis trial, trying to get some justice for Jennifer Toulos. And, all of a sudden, my DMs start blowing up and they're like, oh man, they're trying to, his new lawyers are trying to move Alan. I'm like, transfer him where? I mean, like, I didn't know initially if there was they were trying to seek, a transfer order to get him to the Supreme Court for the hearings after Big Doug. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. And I made you aware that it happened when Doug Carter came out, who is, the head dude with the Indiana State Police, came out last week and, made this statement. Oh, well, if we're going to transfer Alan here for the hearing, like most people won't even see him. We'll have so much security and we'll whisk him in. Everybody will be safe. Everybody will be fine. We'll have a big muzzle on. It's like the whole Hannibal Lecter treatment.
They'll have a big muzzle on him. Is that what he said?
No, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it felt like that. It did. It felt like kind of like when the governor was talking about how they had to reinstate the death penalty to kill Anthony Garcia. So that's how it felt. Like, everything is about perception. Everything is about perception at this point. Everything. So, and he knows that, like, it's like, we've got to make him look out. He's got to be the monster. He's got to be the monster at all times. That's his role. He's the monster in this scenario. So I was irritated by that. And then,
well, it is highly prejudicial for the public to be seeing him in some kind of getup like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, look, he comes
in.
It's
that bad, like you're saying, if they've got him muzzled or whatever.
I was exaggerating like that, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Right.
I mean, they always have like the shock vest on him, like they treat the guy, this little 5'4" guy who, some think is a at this point, a child killer without the benefit of him having had trial, it's par for the course, though. I mean, we're not surprised. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, it's what happens. It doesn't make it right, but it is what happens. So that kind of leads us to today. And I finally get my hands on the transfer order. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it up. We're going to, of course, go through it because it takes precedent. You've read it. I've read it. I know that Sleuthy did a live. I don't know if she went on YouTube or if she did a whatever they call that, spaces on Twitter with it. All right. All right. So we're going to go through. There were a couple of documents, and I'm not going to get on to complaining about Gull and what she did.
I think we should definitely complain about Gull.
Yeah.
First of all, you have the Supreme Court in what I believe it was an opinion sort of, barking at her like, all right, you can't do this anymore. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but you jumped ahead. I was going to read through this document. That's
okay,
cool.
You do that, and then we'll leave them in suspense with what I just said.
Right, exactly. I like where your head's at. All right, so today, this morning, we get this motion to transfer in Alan's case, where his new attorneys, Scremin and Libredo, submit a motion to transfer Richard Allen out of Wabash Valley, where he was just moved, we'll find out where we get to it. So they jump right into the argument. And it's very interesting, Allison. It's very, very interesting.
Agreed.
So argument: Richard Allen is currently being held in a pretrial detention at the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, a maximum security prison. After visiting with Mr. Allen at both Westville Correctional Facility and the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, it is counsel's belief that, one, Mr. Allen is not being treated similar to other pretrial detainees being held in county jails, and two, that pretrial incarceration at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility will seriously, if not fatally, impact counsel's ability to effectively represent Mr. Allen due to the distance of travel and visitation conditions. All right, so then they start going through the factual scenario. Facts. Fact number one: on November 3rd, 2022, the state of Indiana filed a motion on behalf of the sheriff of Carroll County asking the court to transfer Richard Allen to the custody of the Department of Corrections, claiming that due to this being a high-profile case, the Carroll County sheriff could not adequately provide Mr. Allen with necessary security or other needs at the Carroll County Jail. Judge Diener, without holding an evidentiary hearing on the merits, granted the state's motion and approved Richard Allen's transfer to the Department of Corrections, then recused himself from the case that same day. In italics, Mr. Allen had no opportunity to object to this transfer, and no one appeared to consider how this might negatively impact Mr. Allen's defense. Paragraph 2. On April 5th, 2023, Mr. Allen's former counsel filed an emergency motion to modify a safekeeping order, essentially a motion to transfer Mr. Allen to a county jail. I have reviewed counsel's motion, and although I lack personal knowledge to vouch for all of the allegations made, as Mr. Allen's present counsel, I believe it to be a meritorious motion. And based upon 25 years of practicing law, I agree that Mr. Allen is not being treated similar to other pretrial detainees in county jails, and that his pretrial incarceration at a distant state prison severely impacts counsel's ability to effectively communicate with Mr. Allen and effectively represent him. I would incorporate the legal arguments made by prior counsel and add that Mr. Allen's distance from present counsel and the conditions during visitation negatively impact counsel's ability to effectively represent Mr. Allen. Wow. All right. Adopted.
That's
unequivocally.
Pretty big move.
Pretty big move. Now, as soon as I read that paragraph, I came running down to you. I'm like, I start thinking you know, kind of conspiratorial thoughts. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, is this a move by these guys? Like, are these guys trying to ingratiate themselves
I
with
think
the
it's two
Supreme Court?
guys who see a man, their client, being mistreated.
Okay, so you think it's pure.
Yes.
You think their motives are pure. Okay, fair enough. I disagree with you. I think it was an absolute move. Um, but whatever the case may be, I think that paragraph is exceptionally helpful in that I think that it eviscerates Gull's entire negligence, or what is the term she used?
Uh,
Gross negligent, their gross negligence, because this was one of the things where she called Brad Rozzi a liar in open court for relating back to this motion, called him flat out in open court, called an officer of the court a liar. And then McClellan doubled down and he called him a liar too. They both called him liar, liar, pants on fire. That's what they said. I like it, so to me, I found this to be in that sense exceptionally helpful, because we know for a fact the Supreme Court of Indiana is definitely going to be peeking at this particular motion. All right, so paragraph 3, on April 14th, 2023, the court denied prior counsel's motion and Mr. Allen remains in the custody of the Department of Corrections. Just so y'all know, DOC relates to prisons, okay? And again, felons, convicted felons, some occasionally,
anyone sentenced to over a year.
right, is held in a prison. Typically, anybody less than a year or pretrial detainees, people that can't afford bond or that they're not willing to bond out for various reasons, are held in a county jail. So that's where Allen should be. And we went through that whole hearing. I'm not going to rehash all the facts, but it was clear that Cass County was willing to take him, even though they didn't want him, and that they could take him. And Gull still denied that motion at that point. So on April 28th, paragraph 4, this court received a letter. So this is the Batson letter. Received a letter written by an inmate at Westville Correctional Facility alleging that Mr. Allen was being abused and mistreated. Paragraph 5, on September 18th, 2023, prior counsel filed a motion for a Franks hearing in support of their previously filed motion to suppress. Prior counsel included a 136-page memorandum with 126 confidential exhibits. The memorandum and exhibits, among other things, alleged prison guards at Westville Correctional Facility were allowed to wear patches on their official uniforms supporting Odinism, and that crime scene photos suggested a potential connection to Odinism. Parenthetical, a Nordic region and or cult that has been associated both in the prison system and in society in general with white supremacy. And parenthetical.
All right. Sorry.
All
I had
right.
to do that for this next sentence.
I love that. And then after reviewing crime scene photos and visiting Mr. Allen at Westville Correctional Facility, present counsel believes these claims have merit and that pretrial incarceration within the state prison system negatively impacts Mr. Allen's rights, in addition to counsel's ability to effectively represent him. It's
Can
huge.
you read that part again about the Franks hearing and the Odinism?
Oh, you mean the one where everybody on the other side of this was saying that Rozzi and Baldwin were making it up out of whole cloth?
Yeah, read it one more time.
And remember, these are theoretically Gull's boys. At least Libredo is. I don't think Scremin is, but I think Libredo is. So let's read it again. After reviewing crime scene photos and visiting Mr. Allen in Westville Correctional Facility, present counsel believes these claims have merit.
And again, he's talking about the claims in the Franks motion about the association to Odinism.
Yeah, I mean, they basically stated that they're going to adopt the defense. So there goes that mystery, kids. That mystery is over. So if you were hoping, if you were on the other side of it, and all those people that poo-poo the Odinism is crazy, without any evidence to the contrary, I just don't understand that, how people are just outright rejecting it. without the benefit of there being a trial when you had 3 cops and now 4 lawyers for the defense all saying that it's got legs. So, all right, let's go on to paragraph 6. On October 27th, 2023, this court appointed attorneys Robert C. Scremin and William Libredo to represent Richard Allen. Attorneys Scremin and Libredo both reside and maintain primary offices in Fort Wayne, Allen County, Indiana. Paragraph 7, Fort Wayne is approximately 106 miles from Westville Correctional Facility and a 2-hour drive. Fort Wayne is approximately 223 miles from Wabash County, Wabash Correctional Facility, and approximately a 3.5-hour drive without stops. Counsel's most recent visit to Mr. Allen at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility was a 10-hour day. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because, like, this isn't just a couple of lawyers sniveling about having to drive a long way to prepare. Because remember, this isn't an appeal where people are typically already in jail or prison. So they've been transferred. Maybe you never even go see that guy. This day and age, you can telecommunicate with them via, video conference, phone call, whatever the case may be. When you are preparing for trial, you need to be able to get in front of your defendant. You need to be able to sit with your defendant, go through discovery. You need to be able to prepare for the case. Having your client be 223 miles away is absurd. It's obscene, no matter who his lawyers are. That's obscene. And the fact of the matter is, we still don't know to this day why he was moved. No reason has been given to anyone, including, and most importantly, the defendant. They have no idea why he was moved. His current lawyers don't. His past lawyers don't. Karen Weinecke doesn't. Mark Lehman doesn't. Rick Allen does. No one knows why he was moved. So on November 19th of 2023, counsel visited with Mr. Allen at Westville Correctional Facility. The visit was an arduous process, which included lengthy travel, complicated and protracted prison security procedures, and difficult visitation conditions. Throughout our legal consultation, Mr. Allen remained uncomfortably and unnecessarily shackled and chained in a manner resembling Hannibal Lecter, while guards watched through the glass panels and the door ajar. Mr. Allen clearly appeared intimidated by the guards and was hesitant to speak freely with counsel. See affidavit of investigator S. Moeller. So here's your opportunity to talk about.
I didn't know if you wanted. So I was about to say, Bob, I'm pretty excited to see what about that affidavit. But Gull, in her way of ways, despite the Supreme Court telling her she cannot do that, she took it off of the docket. But thankfully, everyone here this evening, we were able to get it before it came off. So we'll get to it. But yes, she again struck it from the record.
Like, in light of her position currently, where she's currently situated, and in light of the fact that they've already ruled on the first original action and basically said, you know what, you fixed mostly everything that was wrong, so we're not going to grant it. Okay. But they said, do better, be better.
And in the future, follow this procedure. So specifically, now I asked the clerk to send everything up through today's date, and there was no whatever that notice is, but I don't know, maybe on the public docket, there is something like on the actual printed docket.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I didn't check that. Sorry.
I mean, whatever the case may be,
she's up to her tricks.
I mean, the time for the shadows is over. Doesn't she know that? It's just such a weird move by her to do that. It's like she just does things that befuddle me that I can't wrap my mind around why she would have done that. In light of what's going on, it's weird. All right, so paragraph 9. Although none of the prison guards were wearing patches in support of Odinism, one of the guards did have a symbolic face tattoo of Odin's spear and multiple hand and finger. Oh, hold on. I'm on the wrong screen. Hold on, everyone. Tattoos emblematic of Odinism and or Norse mythology. This same prison guard had a public Facebook account that also displayed the same tattoos in addition to a necklace with Thor's hammer inscribed with the letters BRS RCR, an acronym for Berserker, which is a very specific type of Norse battle axe and the name given to warriors fighting in honor of Odin. Other photos displayed 3 interlocking triangles, another symbol associated with Odinism, which will be seen in Exhibit 2, which we also have, and which you can just find on Facebook. So I don't know why Gull felt the need to bury that thing. She's burying the lead again for reasons unknown. And when we get to the affidavit, like there's no rational explanation as to why she would have either sealed it or just flat out removed it.
I'm saying I think that she is trying to, because as soon as stuff like that gets on the record, you've got every convicted defendant, in the prisons using it to support their claims. And you know what? Rightfully, they should. It's not her job to try and hide. I mean, that's all I can think is that she's trying to not, expose the prisons and keep people from, having more fuel for their fire. But clearly there is an issue. And, obviously in this situation, the defendant has, a problem with Odinists, but what about all of the Black and brown people who are in the prisons? I'm assuming this does not stop with Indiana. This is like, I've never heard of something like this before. Clearly, somebody needs to do something starting with Indiana. And anybody who associates or advertises a white supremacy group needs to be out of the prison system. Period. The end.
I agree. It's like,
it's an outrage.
I agree. I had some pushback today, from a few people like talking about like bringing up the Odinism stuff again, and I can't stomach it. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with the theory of the defense, which again, poo-pooing it without the benefit of hearing the evidence is absurd, in my opinion. But exactly to what you said, you cannot have white supremacists running around with that kind of power and control and dominion over prisoners. It's a terrifying concept. Imagine being Black and having these guys running around. I mean, it's the concept of it is repugnant to the conscience. It really is.
How someone even gets hired with an advertisement on their, it's like when I tell clients who put the teardrop tattoo, which for those of you who don't know means that you have murdered somebody, on their face. And I'm like, oh, well, what are you gonna do about that? You just tell the jury you're a murderer. How does he get a job with a display like that right on its face?
Sleuthy told me that he got that tattoo on, I think she said October 23rd of this year. So that would have been right after they told him to ace the patches. So his response was, okay, I'll take off the patches, but I'm going to get a tat on my face.
You know why? They're smarter than they look. First of all, you're not going to be able to fire them for their religious beliefs. You can't prove that they're holding some sort, like, I don't know. It'd be very, very interesting. But I think in a prison, you could come up with some argument. I'm not firing you for your religious beliefs, but I'm firing you for the way that symbol makes the people in the prisons feel. And it's like some version of the appearance of impropriety, like putting forth an argument that it's in the best interest of keeping the people in the prisons calm and not inflaming racial tensions, whether they hold regardless of what the individual, officer holds. But clearly that was, based on what you just said, a giant FU and a overwhelming assertion of I'm a white supremacist, because that's what it's being called right now. That's what we're going through right now. So anyone who's going out of their way to tattoo it on their face.
Right. It's, it's a proud display, I mean, there's no question about it. It's a proud display.
And I
And
know
I
white
don't,
supremacy is not a protected religion, but Odinism, or whatever, it's, although closely associated by everybody with white supremacy, you could argue
well,
it's an
it
old
is and
religion.
it isn't. If you talk there's a lot of people that practice Norse paganism and Odinism that are not at all white supremacists, but because of kind of the cool nature of it. I mean, like I've told you, like I love the Vikings. I think Vikings are cool. I like the concept. I like the concept of Valhalla and Odin, like myself. I think it's kind of neat. What happened is a bunch of white supremacists co-opted it. So like I'm not intertwining the two. Just because the white supremacists decided to adopt it as what they're going to practice doesn't mean that Odin, people that practice Odin are white supremacists at all. So what it is that these, white supremacy groups happen to gravitate towards it because it's badass, because you got Thors and hammers and berserker axes and shit like that. So, it's attractive to them for certain reasons. So, they're definitely two separate things. I'm certainly never going to cast some kind of horrible shadow of being racist nightmares on people that practice Odinism
I mean, we don't know.
legitimately.
We don't know any, we don't have any independent knowledge of what's legitimate and illegitimate about the
Well, I
practice of
do. Like
Odinism.
when this first came out, the people that were practicing Odinists were ranting and raving completely. They were like, and they were like, we don't commit, like they're like ritual sacrifices are not done in the way that they're talking about doing them. That's not part of our religion at all. So I mean, yeah, I had some knowledge. I watched a lot of people that know a lot about the religion talking about it, and it's not like it's not in any way, shape, or form ever. I mean, it predates, America by like a long shot. So it's like it's an ancient religion. So like they're two separate things that I'm telling you. The white supremacists just co-opted it because it's cool. That's I'm gonna stick with that. I feel pretty secure about that. Um, all right, so uh okay, so paragraph 11 on 1223 or 122223, counsel visited Mr. Allen at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility where Mr. Allen had recently been moved without consulting counsel. The round trip drive visit took over 10 hours to complete. Access to the prison once again took nearly an hour, and several gates had to be manually cranked open as there was a power outage in a portion of the prison and the doors could not be opened. Now, I can't necessarily blame a power outage on the prison unless it was done. I don't think that this has gone to the point where they say, "Oh yeah, shut the power down," so that this guy can't get in to see Richard Allen. I mean, if it's gotten to that level,
Hey,
then we.
babe, I wanna interject right here and answer this question because I thought I did. And I specifically had said that they can't go and fire people, based on their beliefs openly. But I think there should be some sort of loophole for the fact that if you have a tattoo like that on your face, the feeling it portrays in the prison system for the purposes of um, keeping the prisoners feeling safe or keeping racial tension to a low, which lowers injuries in the prison, that there's some way around it by focusing on that. And I acknowledged right off, they can't openly say, we can't hire you. We're going to fire you because of your beliefs. But I don't think you hire somebody.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, you have that choice. These are not like, I mean, and they certainly wouldn't say we're not hiring you because you have that tattoo on your face. Like, they wouldn't,
Right.
like, nobody's stupid enough to do that in an employer because you're staring at a lawsuit. However, in this situation where they're told that they can't wear the patches, which on a state issued uniform is absurd. You don't put Odin patch, whatever your religious belief is. I don't care what it is. You don't get to wear your own patches on state issued uniforms ever. It's like, it's just not done. So like, and like, I get the argument, the First Amendment side of it, and you're absolutely right. There is no firing somebody based on their beliefs, and it's really, you can't make any laws that tread upon those rights. But this isn't that, and I'm not going to pretend that it is that. Like Allison said, him getting the tattoo after they were told to remove the patches was a giant fu. All right, I'm going to get the tat. Can't remove that. That's permanent. So, and as our viewer aptly noted, they're not going to be able to fire him for having the tattoo.
Right. However, I do believe that they couldn't fire him for the tattoo, not regardless of his beliefs, not because he holds, if we say independent of what you believe, what you practice, that tattoo could inflame tension in the prison and could, instill fear in the prison. So it's not in our best interest to introduce that here. I think that there's a way around the First Amendment or putting it on the religious beliefs, whatever the case may be, because of the environment and the feelings that it can, cause.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. All right. So prison staff, paragraph 12, prison staff indicated they did not have any type of visitation rooms for counsel to use because they were, quote, not equipped for such matters, end quote, but had fashioned a visitation room in some sort of prep kitchen within the prison housing unit. Counsel was informed the visitation would be monitored by video camera. Paragraph 13, counsel was taken to Mr. Allen, who was locked in a prison cell located within the kitchen. The cell appeared to be designed as a place to feed a prisoner. The cell had a solid iron door with a small hinged iron flap approximately 8 inches high that opened just far enough to slide a food tray through. The iron flap was left open, and it was through this small opening that we were allowed to see Mr. Allen and speak with him. So did he paint that picture properly for you?
He did a pretty good job.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about, like, you see it in all the movies where they open that flap and they slide the food on the tray to the guys. Like, so that's what the lawyers had their meeting with Allen, like, through that slot. Wow. A folding table was set up approximately 6 feet from the cell door with 3 chairs on the other side. We were instructed to sit in the chairs and do not approach Mr. Allen or come within 6 feet of the cell door. This arrangement made it impossible to show Mr. Allen any videos or documents or discuss the case with them without raising our voices and almost shouting. 14. In 25 years of practicing law in 5 states, including representing numerous defendants charged with murder, I have never had to conduct an in-custody legal consultation in this fashion. The prison's visitation arrangement created an environment wherein effectively representing Mr. Allen was a fiction. Mr. Allen stated that in 2 weeks, where'd I go? Did I go up? Oh,
no,
sorry.
You're right here at the bottom, 15.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, all right. Mr. Allen stated in 2 weeks that he had been at Wabash Valley Correctional, that he had not received or even been offered any rec time, and he believed that he had taken 1, possibly 2 showers, and that he had not been allowed outside in the prison yard, although other inmates enjoyed outdoor recreation. Conclusion. In 25 years of practicing law, I've never had to conduct an in-custody legal visit in this manner, in the manner that I have with Mr. Allen. I routinely conduct legal visits within the jails in Allen, Adams, Huntington, Randolph, and Wells counties, including consultations with numerous clients charged with murder. There is never a guard present during the consultation, and there's never audio or video equipment recording the visit. My clients are never shackled, handcuffed, or chained during visits. These are clearly state prison policies, not county jail policies. I am often able to simply sit at a table with my client and have a conversation, but at the very least, I am able to sit directly across from my client and speak through a large plexiglass partition where we can view videos and documents. County jails rarely, routinely, dare I say daily, have lawyers visiting pretrial detainees. As such, county jails have rooms specifically designed for attorney visits. County jails also have a streamlined access protocol for defense attorneys that often takes no more than a minute or two, as opposed to an hour. And laptops, phones, and tablets are routinely allowed during attorney visits with no special requests. County jail visits with clients can even be set up the same day. Clients in county jails are extremely accessible, and multiple visits can be quickly and efficiently made when legal issues arise. Based upon counsel's observation and experience, Mr. Allen is not being treated similar to other pretrial detainees being held in county jails. However, even if this court were to find that Mr. Allen's pretrial treatment within the state prison system does not, in and itself, justify moving him to a county jail, evidence is absolutely overwhelming that pretrial detainment at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility will seriously, if not fatally, impact counsel's ability to effectively represent Mr. Allen due to the sheer distance of travel and the unworkable visitation conditions. Counsel for Mr. Allen respectfully requests that he be transferred to either the Allen County Jail or the Adams County Jail. Submitted, Robert Scremin. So there you go. Pretty powerful.
It's pretty powerful. I'd say we start to answer some of these questions because a lot of people want to know, why do you, as Shelby Taylor asks, why do you doubt their sincerity?
The timing of it more than anything, to be honest with you. It's like, so they went to Westville in November, right? And then let's see, when did they go to? So right before Christmas, then they took the trip to Wabash. So, I mean, this isn't a tome that they wrote. It's a 6-page motion that he probably fired out in one day. Just the distance away from the hearing and knowing that this is going to be viewed by a lot of people, including the Supreme Court justices of Indiana. I just get the feeling, to me, and Allison completely disagrees with me. Like, she
Take
just
down this thing while we talk.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where I just think it's a play by these guys, because believe me, this is an attractive case for lawyers to want to be a part of, because it's very high profile. You know, whatever happens after it, book, movie deals, it's one of those cases. And you know, I'm not going to sweat lawyers for, you know, making money after the fact on these types of cases, because they do. And the fact of the matter is it's a career type builder, and it's a legacy type case. So, you know, I think that the timing of it is unusual. I just do. And, you know, while at the same time being helpful to Brad and Andy's argument in front of the court, I think that we now have additional eyes, and I think that it knocks out a couple of the things that Gull had labeled them as grossly negligent for. I think it knocks out them lying about his conditions at the jail, and I think that no matter what she thinks about the memo, you've now got her own boys, her Allen County boys, having reviewed the evidence, and they've landed on the same defense, it appears to be. So, like, you know, I mean, it's helpful in that sense. I don't know. I hope that you're right. I hope that their intentions are pure. I hope that they just are worried. Like, look, they don't want to be driving 10 hours to get back and forth. They don't want it to be a 10-hour thing to get to see their client. That's for sure. Like, that part is definitely pure in motive. You know, like he did it. He's like, dude, I'm not doing this. Like, this is not, like, he was probably bitching the whole way back. Like, dude, this is crazy. Like that, you know, he's got his private investigator, which we're going to go through the affidavit. You know, it's insane. Like, that kind of space.
Speaking of that affidavit, a lot of it is in the memo. So while I say why I agree with the royal we, maybe you can look it over and decide if we need to read the whole thing. You know how, but if we do, we do. You know, But so the reason that I think, yes, the timing is obviously significant, but I think it's for the reasons of standing up and saying, hey, these guys are not wrong. And I think that they had to take time to read all the discovery in order to make an assessment as to whether the whole, possible Odin connection had any merit. And by coming out and saying that they do, and that there's issues at the jail, and doing it right before the Supreme Court, I think is like, hey, we've got to stand up and say the right thing, sooner rather than later. But, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the royal we, which I love that handle because it immediately makes me think of the Big Lebowski. But I get your point. Wouldn't the easiest move have been for the new lawyers to do nothing until SCOIN ruling? Maybe. But again, if you're trying to, again, this is not a case they want to lose. They don't want this to be wrestled away from them. And I think it serves the purpose for new counsel as well as like, and they're able to do it in a way where they're not crapping upon Baldwin and Rozzi by saying, oh yeah, we went through the discovery and these guys are knuckleheads. They made all that shit up. Instead, they're saying, yeah, we went through discovery and it's legitimate. And for whatever issues you had with Baldwin and Rozzi, I mean, we're willing to put up the fight. We see what they were talking about. I'm just saying it puts them in a good light. And that cannot be denied. I think it gives a benefit to them that they filed at this point, and it shines them in a positive light that these guys are up to task, and they've reviewed, and they're willing to admit Rozzi and Baldwin weren't nuts. We've gone through it all. The thing has legs. We did the Westfield thing. That was a meritorious motion, like we agree with them on those things. So, they're drawing a line in the sand with Gull. If she's,
and I guess we should clarify for people. He's not saying that they're insincere. I mean, Bob's
no.
Right. That he thinks that they filed it now in time to be like, hey, everybody, don't worry. We're going to stand up for Mr. Allen too. We're going to assert his rights too. He's not just left flailing in the wind, where I think they did it right now to be like, hey, Judge Gull's wrong. These people weren't speaking out of turn, Yeah,
I mean, we'll never know until I sit down with Bob Scrumman and have a nice long talk with him. But I think it's a little bit of both. I think that there's an ulterior motive, but I think that they're also seeking to get Allen out of there. And I don't think if Scrumman's going to be on this case, he's not driving doing this 10-hour thing. I mean, there's pull that part out of it. I agree with him completely that those conditions of being able to prepare with your client for trial. I mean, we know, we tried a case in Omaha. We'd have to fly to go see him, and we'd go there for days so that we could set up visits. So it's incredibly inconvenient. As a Norwegian, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. It seemed to be a made up term, Odinism. I just
think it's interesting that she's a Norwegian and she's never heard of this, Odinism.
Right. Well, it's Norse. Kind of Norse paganism, I guess is what it is. I don't know who came up with the name Odinism. There was a term that Baldwin and Rozzi used in their memo that people took exception with. They're like, did they just invent this term? Or I don't know. All right. I got to jump to this thing because I got to be on with Steve in 10 minutes. So we're going to have to fly through this thing.
All right. Well, that's
by the way, after this, if y'all love the movie Swingers, I'm going to be with Publicly Buzzed, the guys who put together this super dope beanie, Murder Church, my super homies. We're going to be watching over on Kick. We're going to be chilling, hanging, and watching and laughing a ton, watching Swingers over there at 8. So I got to hurry. And get this done. So the affidavit, do you want to read this or you want me to read it?
No, I want you to just read the parts that weren't already said.
Okay. All right, well, it's short. Okay,
Okay.
so after arrival at the facility, so this is he is their PI. Okay, he's their private investigator. Okay, so did you skip through it? Did you
No,
do
I
that?
didn't know. Is that
Okay.
it? Is
No,
that
no,
it?
it's 4 pages. So after arrival at the facility, it took an hour to get clear security and reach Mr. Allen, including riding in a shuttle. We met with Allen in a room lined with windows where prison guards could plainly observe the quote, confidential consultation. The door to the room was left ajar and could not be closed as the door's deadbolt was left protruding. So they couldn't close it up. Mr. Allen appeared apprehensive to speak freely with the attorneys, Scrumming and Labredo. Mr. Allen, Rick Allen was brought to the room wearing ankle shackles, handcuffs, and wide leather belt fitted with metal O-rings. The ankle shackles and handcuffs are both secured to the waist belt by short chains, which restricted Mr. Allen's every move and gave him the appearance of Hannibal Lecter. They're really running with that one. His hands were cuffed together such that the back of his hands were together with one palm facing up, one palm. Mr. Allen appeared visibly uncomfortable with his arms twisted at the elbow, such that the back of his hands could be secured facing each other in the handcuffs. Mr. Allen remained shackled and chained in this fashion for the entire visit. 5. One of the prison guards, Randy Jones, displayed the fast. And just so you're clear, Randy Jones was at Westville. Like Randy Jones is not at the new spot. Okay. So this is from their one visit at Westville. Okay. Just in case people are confusing that. Because I did initially. I'm like, what? There's guys with Odin tattoos at the new spot, but no, this wasn't at Wabash. It was at Westville.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
I did too. So he's got the face tattoo of Odin's spear. So we heard all that. He located the Facebook profile for Randy. He's got the Thor's hammer. He's got the Berserker axe on there. We know that. Research has revealed that Odinism has been linked to white supremacy in the prison system. Symbols and rituals associated with Odinism also appear to be present in crime scene photos taken in the present case. Okay, Allen said that he was once shot with a taser through a closed and locked prison cell door. We don't know if that was back at Westville or if that was at Wabash. They don't clarify that. Mr. Allen said that when it was time for him to take a shower or have recreation time, the guards would ask him if he wanted a shower or rec, but they would slowly shake their heads from side to side, indicating that his response should be no, because it was inconvenient for the guards to assist with these basic amenities. So on 12/23 or 12/22/23, he went with Scrumming and Labredo to Wabash, 10-hour trip. Facility took an hour to get to Allen. Prison staff indicated they did not have any type of visitation rooms for the attorneys, so they went into the prep kitchen thing. They were informed by prison staff that there were video cameras recording the visit. They were taken to Allen, who was in a secured prison cell. Cell had the iron door, the small iron flap, 8 inches high, and that was opened far enough to slide a food tray through. So that's how they met with their client. A folding table was set up 6 feet from the cell door with 3 chairs. On the far side of the table, we were instructed to sit in the chairs and not to come within 6 feet of the cell door. So why did they put 3 chairs? 3 chairs, because it was these 3 guys. So they didn't even bring Allen out of the cell. Like they literally had to talk 6 feet away at this table through that slot. Man, that's crazy. All right, so Mr. Allen confirmed that he had recently spoken with Karen Weineke by telephone concerning the upcoming Supreme Court hearing. Mr. Allen appeared confused.
Nope, sorry, this is the part I thought we skipped over. I was making sure. All right, everyone, pay attention.
Pay attention. Mr. Allen confirmed he had recently spoken with Karen Weineke by telephone concerning the upcoming Supreme Court hearing. Mr. Allen appeared confused about his legal representation, was hesitant to share information about his case with attorneys Scrumming and Labredo, suggesting that he was waiting for the result of January 18th, 2024's oral argument. Fair. I have also spoken with Mr. Allen's wife, who similarly was hesitant to provide any information until after the hearing. Fair.
Which says they are both waiting to get his lawyers of choice back.
Right. All right. Mr. Allen stated that since arriving at Wabash Valley Correctional, which, by the way, is another motivation for these guys to file that. Just saying. This, I mean, or that, not this affidavit. So Allen stated that since arriving at Wabash Valley Correctional, he's been kept in solitary, not any rec time, and he's not been allowed outside, and that he has no window. Although he's been there for nearly 2 weeks, he believed that he'd been taking 1, maybe 2 showers. He appeared disoriented to date or time. Prison officials confirmed that Mr. Allen has not been taken outside for rec time, claiming it was a safety issue for suicide watch. Okay. And then Mr. Allen expressed concern that he was receiving medications, that he was unsure what he was being given or why, as he has not recently seen a physician. He also stated that whatever medications he receives, he does not always get the same number or type or size of color of pills.
That's horrifying.
That's it. Scary. So they're drugging the dude.
Okay, put up the picture, then you can go and I'll answer questions.
Okay.
But make it bigger so that people can see it.
All right. So this is Randy Jones. So these are recent. We've seen Randy Jones' Facebook posts. You know, looks like a sweet guy.
Wait, you took him down. We can't see him.
I didn't take anything down.
You changed our layout.
Mandy must have done it. I think Mandy did it. Mandy's
maybe
back
they don't
there.
think we should put up the picture.
Why? What? No, that is not what happened, dude. Let's see. I'll pick this one. Is that a little better? It's a little better.
Yeah.
All right. So there's this guy, huh? Oof.
His necklace. There's that little necklace, the berserk guy.
Berserker. I'm a berserker. He looks like a sweet guy. He's got kind eyes. That's what I feel.
He does have kind eyes.
He's got kind eyes. So very like I don't know.
Supremacist.
I mean, you can get that
allegedly, maybe. Sorry, strike that.
He's got that great axe. You can get that axe, and he's a lifter. Like a lot of these self-proclaimed Odinist guys like to lift. I notice they all want to be Vikings. They're very Viking-esque. You know, I'm telling you, all these dudes watch the show Vikings, and we're like, yo, that's us, bro. That is us, bro. Like, forget the motorcycle gang shit. Let's be Vikings because Vikings are cool as shit. So that's it. So, all right. I'm going to bolt. I'm going to jump off so I can hang with my boy Steve and Dan over at PB. If you want to watch Swingers with us when you're done here and listen to her brilliance, come and hang. Thank you all. I love you. We've missed you. We know it's been a minute. We're ramping back up, and we've got exciting news about the morning drop. Our daily news show is going to be starting. We're hoping in a couple of weeks. It's going to be exciting. We got a whole thing going with it, so it's going to be cool. It's going to be in and out, 20 to 30 minutes every morning, giving you all the news that you need to know from the true crime world from the day before and what's coming up. So it'll be cool, and we'll do it in fun, mod of fashion. So
I won't keep them long. I'm just going to go through the members and that stuff. And
awesome. Awesome. And mods, I love you. Thank you guys. And thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
All right. So I just want to thank the people. We've got Miss Lisa, who became a new member. So thank you very much. I know we talked about Shelby's question. We've got Lisa, who did a $5 super sticker. So Bob would say $5 holla. Loved Royal We, your point. Obviously, I agreed. And Excited Utterance became a new member. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Benjamin Gray, you have an Excited Utterance raid. So there you go. All right. Thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate it. Bonnie Bailey coming in hot with $5. Thank you very much. And then Sandy, that was amazing. She gifted 5 Defense Diary podcast memberships. So thank you very much, Sandy. And thanks for the people who got those memberships. And then I addressed Making Laws Simple's, question. And I thought like I said, kind of addressed that before. And as I was saying it, but I definitely appreciate the comment, and obviously that, there are some issues there, but I still think there's ways around it. Charmaine, member for 3 months. Thank you. Thank you very much. I know we spoke about our Norwegian friend here who has no idea about Odinism, which to me says something about Odinism. And amazing, Charmaine, 24.99. Wow, thank you so much. We really appreciate that very, very much. Why, if they have a dress code that they may have to agree to before getting the tattoo, could that be, so heavy metal, rehab. I'm getting old and blind and not wearing glasses. So I agree that could be an issue. That's why I'm saying I don't think it has to be based on their beliefs. I think they can say having this item on your clothing, like clearly they did with the dress code, or tattooed on your face could inflame tensions in a prison. And for that reason, we have to let you go. And it's completely and wholly independent of their beliefs, independent of any thought or speech whatsoever. So I absolutely agree. Signs Times, thank you very much for becoming a member. We really appreciate it. Glad to have you. Hope you're enjoying the material. Shelby, I don't know if I said this already, or if this is different, but 5 Defense Diary memberships. That's super amazing. Thank you very much. And then we have Joanne. Alan is innocent until proven guilty. This is my verdict. And I know the whole inside joke with this is my verdict or inside meaning, but it's such a good point. And there's so many people out there. I doubt the people that are in here, but people out in the world in general who just don't understand the concept, and that he's being held in a prison and being treated the way prisoners shouldn't even be treated, to be, I mean, that seriously, but he's not even convicted of a crime. So, I mean, it's definitely an issue. I'm glad to have gotten to be here with all of you without Bob, because I kind of hate it. But I'm going to tell you a little more about the morning drop. We are going to do that. It's really, I think, going to be fun and interesting. We're going to do it every morning. It's going to be a short little update. And I know the mods, although I don't know which, but Bob does, and we'll thank you all more later, came up with this idea, and we're really excited to start doing it. We're trying to put all the things in motion and set up a whole set in the basement. And we're gonna have our daughter be a waitress who like breezes in and breezes out, being sort of, sassy and whatnot. So it's gonna be fun, and I hope you guys will all like it. And we appreciate everything, and we'll catch up with you soon. I guess without you guys.